Hello and welcome back to another episode of Hockey Talkie. My name is Clay. Thank you for tuning in. The Blackhawks announced earlier this morning, which was a while ago, when you compare it to when I'm releasing this video. You gotta understand, for those of you who are new to this channel, I'm rarely one of the first videos about a topic because Blackhawks tend to announce things right at the beginning of the day, right when I'm conveniently starting my actual job. So I gotta wait and let it kind of fester in my mind. It's torture. It really is. Anyhow, the Blackhawks announced that they have gave head coach Jeremy Colliton a 2-year contract extension. His original contract was ending after this season, so this is just tacking on 2 more seasons. So this year and then 2 more, which is conveniently the same amount of time that the following players have left on their contracts: Jonathan Toews, Patrick Kane, Alex DeBrincat, and Duncan Keith. So that kind of gives us a little bit more of a rigid time frame to our little rebuilding phase that we're in right now, with all those player contracts coming off the books at the same time, as well as Coach Colliton's extension ending at that same time. The Blackhawks are given an opportunity at that time to make a decision about the future of this franchise and this team. Depending on what happens now until then, do they feel like they can continue, going with Colliton and perhaps bringing back guys like Toews and Kane and Keith and DeBrincat, or do they want to move on from all of them or some of them to maybe go into another phase of whatever this team is going to be? The point is, mark that time on your calendar, because that's going to be kind of a big moment in the near future of this team. But that's in the future. Let's talk about the now. And right now, we shouldn't be surprised with this. Regardless of whether you like this or not, regardless of your opinions on Colliton, you should not be surprised right now that he's getting an extension before the season, because this has been in the works for a few months. Stan Bowman mentioned a couple months ago that he was planning on getting an extension done for Coach Colliton. So, like I said, regardless of how you feel, you shouldn't really be surprised. Now, this is going to be Coach Colliton's 3rd season with the Hawks, but it's kind of interesting to note that he hasn't, and will not through this season, coach a full season for the Hawks. He came in his first year in relief of Coach Q and coached 3/4 of a season. Then last year he coached 70 games because of pandemic shortened season. And then this season is also kind of a pandemic shortened season, just a 56 game schedule. So through 3 years, we will not have seen Coach Colliton coach a full 82 games schedule. With that said, we have enough to go by, enough work, body of work to know, what his faults are. Most notably, his lineup and roster decisions have been baffling at times, but we have seen improvements over the years. Small improvements, but improvements. And we saw some improvements during the pandemic playoffs too. It helped the team beat the Edmonton Oilers in the qualifying round. You got to remember that Coach Colliton was put in a pretty tough situation, right? First year NHL coach, stepping in to fill in the shoes of legendary NHL coach, Coach Quenneville, and trying to also change and implement a new modern defensive system, which most of the league uses, but it breaks the habits of these core players, decade-long habits, if you will, core players who have won 3 Stanley Cups using those old habits. Like, that's not really a win-win scenario. Is there a better coach out there? Probably. Is there a coach out there that would take this team, this roster, and make it a contender this year or next year or the year after? I don't know if there is. Certainly not this year. With where the Blackhawks are as an organization, and where they are with their rebuilding, you got to remember what the Blackhawks said, or what they released to us. They're 2 pillars moving forward. Number 1, getting the cap under control, getting control of the salary cap and their situation under it. Number 2, giving young players chances. For a coach like Colliton, who is known to be good with younger players, does it make sense at this point in time to move on from them, not just this year, but next year or the year after? If things don't go super south, what's really the point in bringing in a new coach that doesn't really change how the team performs. So as I mentioned earlier, like, this shouldn't come as a surprise. This has been in the works for a while. This is pretty obvious kind of news. But with that said, this doesn't guarantee that he's going to finish out his extension. Things could go south, or things could just change. We have the Seattle expansion draft coming up this summer. We have a flat salary cap. Things can change in the NHL landscape. And if this team and this roster and this organization feels like they can start competing earlier than they think right now, then they might pull the trigger before Colliton's extension ends. And they might get him out and, in favor of maybe a more experienced or a coach that they feel like can take this team to, a Stanley Cup run. Who knows? That's the future. That's the beauty of the future. We don't know. But for now, what we know is we have a coach that has a strength of developing young players. And that's the roster we have right now. A bunch of young players. And that's what's on the docket for this team for the next few years. So right now, Coach Colliton is kind of in the right place. Whether or not you think he's going to lead this team to the promised land anytime soon or anytime in the future, that is very much up for debate. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate that as well. But most importantly, stay safe. Make good decisions. I'll see you real soon. Hockey is back, folks. It's time to make videos. Like a lot of them. No more being lazy. Nope. Let's go.